Thank you, Madam Mayor. While I appreciate the work being done at the background to come up with this proposal and the contract, I also agree and resonate with some of my colleagues who have spoken about a contract of this size, this timeline, this sensitivity. We expected to see it in Resource and Finance, ONS, or it was mentioned that it was discussed partially in the Community and Housing Committee, but not to a level where we understood heading or making that choice and how those decisions are made underneath. And before I get started on the questions that I have on the arrangement here, I'm also surprised that every time we have a situation like this where a contract is expiring at the end of November, why is it that in the last council meeting that was not on the agenda? And why was it that on the last ONS meeting we were not talking about this? Because I think as per the transparency in where this council is operating from and where we're coming from, we feel as councillors, and all of them, most of us, that we want to be involved. We want to see how we come up with this, be it limited decisions or limited options, and why we are deciding the way we are. So again, the tender process and what happened, and of course Part B, there are other points that I will be, I would want to make. But end of the day, I fail to understand why is it at the very last moment, and we are still appreciating it, that it's wonderful that we are, making it now. But then I think we should have known this a year before and have a back-end calendar that reminds you 6 months ahead of time, and you have a time for proper discussion. This is the same thing that happened in last year's budget. And I think that in terms of signing any contracts going forward, at least my stake is that I want to know how we are making these decisions, where the back-end information is coming from, does this align or not? And, blindly just relying on the document and just believing it on the face of it, it'll be a little tricky, at least as far as I'm concerned, because we would like full explanation. But having said that, I also wanted to kind of reconfirm from the portfolio holder the impact of this new arrangement and the choice, once again, the choice of making a 10 years contract, which is extendable by 5 and 5 years. I don't see the need, unless that had to do something with number and loan adjustment and management, why we're giving out such a lengthy contract and, aligning again with some of my colleagues. What is the guarantee of service and the quality of service? And previously, again, we've seen council assets are very poorly managed, and there is nobody, and even, in Part B, there is another item that will relate to this, but then how do we ensure that, yes, we give out these lengthy contracts and, all these arrangements are evaluated again at the back end with some matrix or not, but how do we know that we're giving out the best value to our residents? And will this contract at any point have impact on the tariffs and the prices that were discussed in a few meetings earlier than this one? And do we have an arrangement that this new management company will not increase the charges and it will not impact the residents and their usage? And is that being incorporated? And finally, how do we ensure that the application of policies and the priorities for residents is delivered through these third parties? And how will we monitor that without a hefty cost to the council? So that would be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Javed. Councillor Barker.